6 players on a court. That is what you see, sitting in the bleachers. 6 players on each side of a net. A ball, a whistle, a scoreboard. That is the apparent game. There is another game underneath it. Watch a team in warm-ups. The players are not interchangeable. One always goes to the net. One drops to the back corner. One stays in the center, jumping higher than anyone else. Every player has a position. Every position has a specialty. This is a story about those 6 positions and the hidden game they play. We begin at the center of the team, the setter. The setter is the second touch. She takes the pass and decides which hitter gets the ball. She is the quarterback and the conductor. Her job is to facilitate every kill to put the ball exactly where her hitter can crush it. To facilitate is to make something easier for someone else. From the Latin facilis, easy from facere. To do or to make, this route is everywhere. Fact, a thing done. Faction, a doing group. Manufacture, to make by hand. Factory facile, done with ease. A great setter does not score most of the points. She facilitates them. Watch her pointer finger after she releases the ball. Next. The outside hitter, left side of the net. Position 4. If the team has a reliable scorer, this is usually her. She is adept at hitting from the outside, meaning she is very skilled at the angles from that specific corner. Adept means highly skilled in a specific activity. From the Latin adeptus, past participle of adepticiple, to reach or obtain. This root gives us apt, fit, suited, and aptitude. Also, surprisingly, aptitip, originally aptitude of the body, a pose fit to a situation. Her job is not raw height. It is tempo, timing, arm speed, and reading the block a half second before it forms. The middle blocker, position 3. She is usually the tallest player on the team. She moves along the net, trying to be in front of every hitter. Her job is to be impenetrable at the net. Impenetrable means impossible to pass through. From the Latin penetrare, to enter a middle blocker tries to be exactly that. Unpenetratable, a wall, a roof, something the ball cannot get past. A great middle isn't just tall. She is fast laterally and reads the setter. The setter's shoulder angle tells her which hitter is about to get the ball. She has less than a second to get there, jump, and seal the gap. Across the net from the outside hitter, the opposite. Same job, mirrored. Right side, position 2. She hits against the opposing team's weakest blocker, and she has to be decisive. She doesn't have time to think. Decisive means settling a question firmly. From the Latin decidere, day off, plus quitar, to cut. A decisive action cuts the question off. This route is surprisingly wide. Decide, incisive, cutting right to the point. Precise, cut cleanly. Concise, cut down to size. Excise, cut out. The right side set arrives fast. You swing or you lose the point. And then, different from everyone else on the court, the libero. The libero wears a different colored jersey. She plays only in the back row. She cannot attack above the height of the net. She plays entirely to dig and pass. Her job is to persist, to keep every ball alive, even the ones that look impossible. To persist is to keep going despite resistance. From persister, per through, plus sister, to stand. A persistent player keeps standing, keeps passing, keeps getting under the ball. A great libero sprawls 4 balls already called dead. She gets a forearm under a 60-mile-per-hour hit. She pancakes a ball a fingertip above the floor. And alongside her, sometimes, a defensive specialist. Same job, back row, passing and digging, but in a regular jersey, with normal rotation. She reinforces the back row. Reinforce means to make stronger. Re again plus enforce, to give it force a second time. The defensive specialist is a second libero, during the rotations when the real libero cannot be on the floor. So, setter, outside, middle, opposite, libero. Defensive specialist. 6 positions, 6 specialties, 6 jobs that have to interlock like gears in a watch, and over all of them, the coach. A good coach has sagacity, a keen, practical discernment that sees what the players cannot yet see. Sagacity is the wisdom that comes from perceiving things keenly. From the Latin sagaria, to perceive sharply, the same root as sage, and presage, to predict by seeing signs. A sagacious coach reads, the other teams attack 3 rotations before anyone else does. A team that plays with conviction, firm belief in the system, and each other, is the team that wins the close ones. Conviction is a firmly held belief. From the Latin convincer con together plus vincere, to conquer. To convict someone was to conquer their argument. To have conviction became to have conquered your own doubt. A team playing without conviction hedges its swings. A team with conviction does not. The 6 specialized positions did not arrive in one moment. They developed over decades. In 1964, the Japanese women's team won Olympic gold. With a passing system that looked cogent in a way no one had seen before, every player covering exactly the right zone. Cogent means clear, logical, in a way that compels agreement. From the Latin cogere, to compel, to drive together, to force to a conclusion. A cogent argument compels you to agree. A cogent defensive system compels the opposing attack to fail. Every serious coach studied the tape after. Every young player, dauntless, stoic, vigilant, meticulous about her footwork, resilient after every mistake is learning. First, which of these 6 positions is going to be hers? The tractable ones develop fastest. Tractable means manageable, easy to coach. From the Latin tractar, to handle. A tractable athlete is one a coach can shape. A tractable player is not passive. She is open to correction, willing to change a habit in a week rather than a year. Coaches build teams around players like that. That is part 1. 6 positions, 1 coach. 1 hidden game, layered underneath the apparent one. In part 2, rotations, serve-receive, the shots a hitter chooses between in a quarter of a second, and the mental game that separates good teams from great ones. 15 words, lock 'em in. Facilitate, to make something easier. Root facere Latin, to do. Adept, highly skilled. Root adaptis see, to attain. Impenetrable, impossible to get through. Decisive, settling a question cleanly. Root keter, to cut. Persist, to continue despite difficulty, reinforce to strengthen. Sagacity, keen discernment. Root sagarit, to perceive keenly. Conviction, firmly held belief. Root convincer, to conquer. Cogent, clear, logical, and convincing. Tractable, manageable, coachable. Plus 5 you already know, used tonight in context. Dauntless, stoic, vigilant, meticulous, and resilient. The ball leaves the setter's hands in 1/5 of a second. Every position on the floor has to know what to do before that 1/5 of a second is over. That is the hidden game. Welcome back. Part 1 introduced the 6 players and the job each specializes in. Part 2 is about what happens when those 6 specialists have to move together in a rotation. They are against another team of 6 specialists trying to do the same thing. This is the strategy layer, the hidden game. We begin with systems. The most common modern system is the 5-to-1-1 setter, 5 hitters. The setter runs every set, front row or back row. The second most common is the 6-to-2, 2 setters, 6 hitters. Whichever setter is in the back row sets the offense. The one in the front row plays as an extra hitter. A coach asserts a system at the start of the season based on who she has. To assert is to state firmly, without qualification. From the Latin assere ad, to plus sere, to join. To assert is to attach your name to a statement and stand behind it. If she has 1 gifted setter, she runs the 5-to-1. If she has 2 decent setters, she runs the 6-to-2. Every team rotates clockwise, 1 position at a time, after winning a side out. That is a rule of the sport. So the setter is not always where you want her. For 2 of the 6 rotations, she is in the back row. She has to chase the pass, sprint to the net, and set. A team that cannot concede some offensive speed during those rotations will struggle. To concede is to yield. From the Latin conceder con, together plus cedere, to go, to yield. The root cedere is everywhere. Cede, precede, recede, proceed, access to go toward, exceed to go beyond. Succeed to come after, and thus to follow up well. A team that cannot concede small things loses bigger ones. Next, serve-receive. When the other team serves, the 3 players nearest the ball take the pass. The goal is to put the ball on the setter's forehead, at net height, every time. A good passing team can run any play. A bad passing team can only run safety sets, eyeballs to the outside, where the hitter has time to recover. Teams with bad passing are predictable. Teams with good passing are not. 2 kinds of coaching separate here: partisan coaching and impartial coaching. Partisan means bias toward one side. From the Latin pars or partis, apart. A partisan coach favors her own side completely. It is her job. Impartial is the opposite. Not, plus partial. An impartial coach, a referee, really treats both sides the same. The root is still pars. Partial, party, participate, apart, partition. The club coach on the bench is partisan. The referee on the stand above the net is impartial. The tension between the two keeps the sport honest. Speaking of referees, the strident call of the whistle is the one constant across every gym. Strident means loud and harsh, forcefully demanding attention. From the Latin strider, to make a harsh noise. A strident whistle cuts through crowd noise. A strident voice demands the room. A fair referee makes strident calls. Loud, clear, hard to miss, but impartial ones. Midway through a close match, things stop going the way the coach planned. The other team is serving short. The pass has gone wobbly. 2 of her hitters are frustrated. In the 60 seconds of a timeout, her job is to reconcile the tactical picture. To fit the new reality into a plan that still makes sense. To reconcile has 2 related meanings. To restore friendly relations and to make 2 things consistent. 2 fit facts together so they no longer contradict. She reconciles 2 frustrated hitters into a team again. And she reconciles the scouting report with what she is actually seeing. If she cannot do both, the second half belongs to the other team. On the other side of the net, a team that can stymie the attack, that can block, again and again. At the critical moments, has the easier path. To stymie is to block, to prevent progress. The word comes from Scottish golf slang. Stymie was originally a ball blocking another player's putt. The word has traveled far from golf. A stymied attack can knock it through. In volleyball, the block stymies the kill, but a smart hitter knows how to refute a block. She does not swing straight through it. She tools it, hits the outside edge of the blocker's hand, intentionally, sending the ball off the block and out of bounds on the other team's side. To refute is to prove wrong. From the Latin refutere back, plus a root meaning to beat down. A refuted argument has been beaten back. A refuted block has been outwitted by the hitter. Related to futile, an effort that can be beaten back with no result. Meanwhile, in the stands, the parents' club volleyball parents can be fanatical. Fanatical comes from the Latin fanum, meaning temple, originally inspired by a god, as at a temple. Narrowed to wildly excessive in enthusiasm. It is the source of fan, short for fanatic. Also, profane, before the temple, outside the sacred, ordinary. A fanatical parent drives 3 hours to a tournament and yells for every point. Which brings us, briefly, to economics. Club volleyball tournament fees can be exorbitant. Exorbitant means unreasonably large. From the Latin exorbitor ex, out of plus orbita, attract to literary, off the track. An exorbitant price has gone off the ordinary track of pricing. A $1,000 weekend tournament fee is exorbitant. Club fees on top of that, travel, equipment, the sport is not cheap. Back to the court. When the serve pulls the passer out of position, the set goes to a safety hitter. Pragmatic coaches plan for this. Good teams are formidable even when out of system. The other team is relieved when they finally earn an ace. The libero all mat is the quiet signature of a tenacious team. She gets 2 balls she has no right to. She does it every point. A judicious setter does not always take the easy set. Sometimes she backsets the opposite, because she has watched the middle blocker commit too far left. Judicious choice reads, the whole match, not just the current point. And what makes great teams great, finally, is relentless attention to the fundamentals. You can have a gifted setter, a tall middle, a fast libero, and still lose. If the pass does not go to the setter's forehead, you can have none of those gifts and win, if every pass does. The kids who stay in this sport at 14, 15, 16, into college, into the rare pro league, are not always the tallest. They are not always the fastest. They are almost always the ones who keep showing up when nothing feels fun, who pass a wobbly ball on a Tuesday night for the 1000th time, who chase what they cannot catch because they cannot yet accept that they cannot catch it. 6 positions, 6 rotations, 2 teams, 1 ball, 1/5 of a second every time the setter touches. That is the hitting game. 30 words. 20 new 10 review. Lock them in. From part 1. Facilitate to make easier. Root, facere Latin. To do. Adept, highly skilled at one thing. Impenetrable, impossible to get through. Decisive, settling a question cleanly. Root, keter, to cut. Persist, to continue despite difficulty. Reinforce, to strengthen. Sagacity, keen discernment. Root, sagir, to perceive keenly. Conviction, firmly held belief. Root, convincer, to conquer. Cogent, clear, logical, convincing, tractable, manageable, coachable. From part 2, assert, to state firmly, concede, to yield. Root, cedere, to go or yield. Partisan, bias toward one side. Impartial, not biased. Root, pars, part, strident, loud and harsh. Reconcile, to restore relations. To make consistent, stymie, to block progress. Refute, to prove wrong. Fanatical, excessively, enthusiastic. Root, phantom, temple. Exorbitant, unreasonably large. Plus 10 you already know. Dauntless, stoic, vigilant, meticulous, resilient, formidable, tenacious, pragmatic, judicious, and relentless. If this helped you see volleyball or SAT vocabulary a little differently, subscribe for a new episode every week. And if you are thinking about playing club, you will be better at reading the setter's shoulder within a season. The rest is practice.